So Payback has come and gone, and now we move on to what my thoughts were about Payback. Okay, so skipping like the first 20 or so minutes of the kickoff panel, since it was just them talking, recapping the events as if we're fucking dumb, because that's what they think nowadays. Um, so the first match that got relegated to the pre-show was Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin, and I do not know why. Like, this should have been on the main card, in my opinion. So Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin, they had, like, you would think the match would be somewhat decent, but to me it really wasn't. Like, it was a little decent, but Baron Corbin was playing the arrogant heel, though doesn't have that same vibe that you get from Kevin Owens when he does it. And Kevin Owens likes to do multiple things at once when he's the arrogant heel, as I will get to in a minute. But Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler, they didn't really have a good match. It was the C plus match, as Bleacher Report said. Um, it just wasn't really that special, and it ended with Dolph Ziggler getting the win. And I'm like, oh dear God, they're doing the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal curse, because from here on out, you basically go a decline. Like, I was hoping Baron Corbin would get something good out of this. Like, maybe finally he's gonna get the recognition he gets from the main roster. Nope, it's the same. If you're an NXT guy, you're immediately the scum of the earth to Vince and Kevin Dunn. And so Dolph Ziggler beats Baron Corbin by a roll up, and that's pretty much how it ends. And Baron Corbin's frustrated, and I bet he was pissed off about being relegated to pre-show, and just like Ryback. So Ryback and Kalisto is next. Ryback mainly stole the match because of what he did prior to the match. He went like, this is in Chicago, and so he mocks CM Punk's entrance, does the tracing a circle on the floor and then tapping his wrist like it's the watch, and does CM Punk's entrance. And considering the history between Ryback and CM Punk, yeah, there's a huge bitterness that is still there. And well, and then someone pointed out something on Twitter that I didn't know until I saw the picture. Apparently, if you look at Ryback's trunks, you can see pre-showstopper. So now he's mocking Shawn Michaels, the showstopper. So Ryback at this point has, and just like the Twitter tweet said, the Ryback just doesn't care anymore. Why, he's at that point where he just doesn't give a damn. So Kalisto and Ryback, they had a pretty solid match. It was possibly their best match together. Um, the highlight other than Ryback's behavior is, well, when Kalisto did this big DDT spot in the middle of the ring, and I'm like, oh my God, can we get more high flyers in this company? Like, we need more luchadors, more Japanese wrestlers. Like, you have the Global Cruiserweight Series. I hope Kalisto's in it. Like, I would really pay to see that, and I get to, since I'm paying $9.99 just to see this. So that happened, and Kalisto gets the win by a Selena del Sol. And once more, like, the only reason that move's getting over is because of what happened at TLC, where Kalisto did the Selena del Sol off the ladder, which was awesome. To this day, I still say it's awesome, and that was a big spot, especially to one of the Usos. I think the one that had the shoulder injury. But Kalisto really did well with the DDT attack, tornado DDT it was. So that was the big highlight. Kalisto gets the win. Ryback loses again. I thought Ryback was going to win for a moment there. Like I'm a little glad that didn't happen, because Kalisto has done some good matches, but Kalisto being relegated to pre-show is pretty insulting. So I'm not liking that direction. So either way, the U.S. champion's fucked. So now we get to the actual show, which is, the first one is the New Day opens up, and I was watching this with two of my friends, and then I was watching this with two of my friends. One who watches wrestling doesn't like the New Day, and another one doesn't really watch wrestling as a whole. And he was busy also playing Destiny with his friends, but like I showed Trayvon when I was showing him the video. Like he was not happy to see the New Day, especially them with the whole bootios and them acting goofy and over the top. Like he was more into like down to earth, realistic characters, not over the top John Cena characters, and I can understand that, especially how they stopped. Especially after I told them they stopped being stereotypes of African Americans, saying, "Oh, they're just pretending to be a choir and whatnot and whatnot." So, the glad that they finally moved on. Glad that the New Day still getting over with fans, and even despite their role as faces. And the New Day pretty much stole the highlight of this match, though. Really, that's not it. Though I'm not gonna judge this match because of what happened with Enzo Amore. So Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy versus the Vaudevillains. It looked like it was gonna be a great tag team match. Then an accident happened with one of the Vaudevillains with Enzo Amore, and Enzo Amore landed on his head and on his shoulder and got a severe concussion. And from what I gather, he's now out of the hospital. And apparently, Kevin Owens came to visit him after the pay-per-view. So, props to Kevin Owens for being professional and actually giving it care, despite his trolling on Twitter. He likes to do, especially when someone threatens him for stopping on the U.S. title belt a year ago, and Kevin Owens just says, "Oh, I'll be waiting." So, or looking forward to it. So, like, I'm not going to judge this match because of what happened. Like, I'm expecting a rematch at Extreme Rules, most likely, or maybe the next night on Raw, because WWE will have that fetish to say, "Oh, Vaudevillains, go for the head. He just recently had a concussion. Look, I know he had a concussion, but go for the head." You see, that's what a heel does. He needs to hurt the person by hitting them in their injured area. Okay? No, we don't care about the medical proceedings. I mean, like, we do care, but at the same time, we kind of don't care because we have this disturbing fetish to have the heels target the injured area. Okay? Okay. And before I go any further, a report came out just recently today that the Vaudevillains is gimmick. Vince is not a fan of them. And I'm thinking, well, of course you're not a fan of them. They're NXT guys, the Triple H guys. And what worked in NXT most likely won't work on the main roster. And also, wait, you don't like them? Their gimmick? I would expect you to because you're stuck in the 80s and they're from the 1910s. So I would think you were thinking it's still that era as well. Though, of course, that's when professional wrestling was professional wrestling before it became sports entertainment. So, is that why? Okay. So, Vince doesn't like the Vaudevillains gimmick, despite it working so well in NXT and has an audience. So, I don't know what's going to happen to them afterwards, so they might get relegated to nothingness afterwards. Okay, so, and the next match surprised me of how come it happened so early in the show. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. I don't know why they put this next afterwards. Like, I get, like, they probably was going to happen later, and then after what happened to Enzo Amore, they need to rally the crowd up, so let's just put the show stealer on there. And they had once again prove everyone right that yeah, they had one hell of a match together. It was awesome, it was intense, it was everything you wanted to be, but it wasn't the show stealer like initially like I had hoped it would be. I'll get to the show stealer in a bit because once I do, everyone's gonna hate this video. Kevin Owens plays the heel to perfection, bows before the audience in an arrogant manner, and surprised me how he beat Sami Zayn clean in the ring. I was expecting like some cheap finish, but no, let's have Kevin Owens actually play a badass heel instead of a weak coward from time to time. So I was glad about that, and there would be more impact to Kevin Owens winning clean against Sami Zayn because that would have saved Sami Zayn's victory over Kevin Owens at a later date, presumably at WrestleMania, like Raven and Tommy Dreamer feud from ECW. Like, I was really hoping they would do that kind of angle where Kevin Owens always keeps winning the matches and Sami Zayn keeps losing against him. but they kind of squandered it when they had Kevin Owens get pinned by Sami Zayn on Raw a few weeks ago in a 6-man tag team match, and I was like, well, you just killed all the momentum there. There goes your big money making opportunity to say, who is Sami Zayn finally going to beat Kevin Owens? No, you just saved that for a meaningless match on Raw. Way to go. So Kevin Owens beat Sami Zayn clean in the ring. It was a hell of a match. Then after that, Kevin Owens cut a promo saying how he defeated Sami Zayn, threatened Byron Saxton, and I'm feeling sorry for Byron because he's just trying to do a good job, and yeah, he's either told to be very very obnoxious or get bullied by his fellow commentators. Seriously, why would Michael Cole say nobody likes him? Because they're both faces, so why is he acting like a heel right there? I generally think Michael Cole doesn't like Byron at this point, and that was back in November. So Kevin Owens decides, you know what? I'm gonna watch commentary. I thank you for your invitation. And then Kevin Owens' antics on the commentary kind of annoyed my friend, but I just found it enjoyable and kind of stole the Miz versus Cesaro match. Especially Kevin Owens wearing the cowboy hat, acting nonchalant about it. And that was just hilarious because this is Kevin Owens. He does everything cool. So The Miz with his wife Maurice versus Cesaro. I wasn't expecting much. It was just gonna be Cesaro once again proves why he's the best worker, and The Miz proves why he's the underrated heel, and they did that. So, nothing really magic there. The highlight of the match, other than Kevin Owens' commentary, was Sami Zayn coming back and getting more action out of Kevin Owens and fighting all over the ring. This Cesaro knocks both of them out, and Miz gets a win through a roll-up, grabbing a handful of tights. So that happened, and while the Miz retained and Cesaro gets pissed off, then Sami Zayn gets back in the ring, and Kevin Owens gets back in the ring, and they all start brawling, and Kevin Owens comes out on top holding the Intercontinental belt while trying to powerbomb The Miz, but Maurice gets him out of the ring before that could happen. So, yeah, they're teasing a fatal four-way match. Cesaro versus The Miz versus Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn at Extreme Rules, and even got reported earlier today that we're going to see that match happen at Extreme Rules, most likely. A fatal four-way match for the IC title. Nice to see the IC title finally get some proper respect, though. Some people might say this is still meh, but I'm hoping for something great to happen from this. Next is Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho, I believe. They, after Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, I was expecting a match similar to that, but it would have less impactful energy, since the feud is basically because Chris Jericho is butthurt over Shane McMahon's decision to cancel the highlight reel in exchange for Ambrose Asylum, and I'm like, that's kind of a weak setup. Could have been for the IC title, but no, you decide not to. Okay. So Dean Ambrose and Chris Jericho, they had a heck of a match. It was awesome, but it wasn't as awesome as Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, and as the other match that I will get into in a minute. After several other comments on Charlotte Bret Hart match, Natalia match, and the angle with the Authority and Shane McMahon. But Dean Ambrose and Chris Jericho, they had kind of an okay match. It was great. It didn't have that same energy, and the crowd was really divided between Y2J and Dean Ambrose. So I don't know what's gonna happen there. So despite Chris Jericho being the arrogant heel and the crybaby face that he's trying to be, crybaby heel that he's trying to be from 1998. Seriously, it just comes off as uncomfortable for me. It's trying to see a guy representing what he was in his younger years. It's just weird for me. So Dean Ambrose beats Chris Jericho after a very awkward dirty deeds. It looked like they were supposed to do a fast, quick dirty deeds, but then Dean Ambrose just kicks him in the gut multiple times, then does the dirty deeds. I feel like, did something happen there? Was something supposed to else happen? Was it supposed to be quick? But now we'll never know. He gets the win over Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho throws his temper tantrum. And I'm just thinking, so what's going to happen next? Is Chris Jericho going to feud with Dean Ambrose still? Or is he leaving? Or is he going to feud with Shinsuke Nakamura since it was rumored that Chris Jericho called him out on Twitter? I haven't seen the tweet, and considering that was months ago, that could take a while just to find it. So I don't know about that. So there's rumors that might happen. So we might see him on the main roster soon. But I don't know what Chris Jericho's going to do. So really, that's pretty much and I'm glad Dean Ambrose got the win, because after his lackluster, very underperformed WrestleMania match with Brock Lesnar, I never thought I'd be saying that. He really needed something there. He really needed to get a good match and a good victory out of this. So I was glad that happened. Next, we get Charlotte versus Natalya with their respective family members involved. Bret Hart looks like he's not interested in being on the show. Not surprised, since he had said he has no desire to be on the show and he's just doing it for family. And Ric Flair, he's just trying to take the spotlight. Well, not as much this time, but still feels like he's trying to take the spotlight from his daughter. I know creative might be planning this. So, Charlotte and Natalya, they look like they were going to get a good match out of this. We know they can do a good match with each other, but then they did the Montreal Screwjob scenario, and I'm like, wait, what just happened? This isn't, confusing, the Montreal Screwjob actually happening, but, it's more wait, what just happened here? Charlotte puts her in the sharpshooter, puts Natalya through the sharpshooter, and the bell just suddenly rings. I had initially assumed Ric Flair rung the bell. And, wait, what happened? And Charles Robinson got out of the ring and left. And I'm like, wait, what just happened here? And not Montreal Screwjob confusing, more what kind of booking were they thinking here? So that was a major low point in the show. The second major low point, well, I'll get to that in a minute. So Bret Hart and Natalya put Ric Flair and Charlotte through the sharpshooter in the middle of the ring, and they walk out with a head held high, while Charlotte and Ric Flair walk out with them in pain. And they're both tapping out. So I'm expecting a rematch to happen at Extreme Rules, if not on Raw, without Ric Flair or Bret Hart, hopefully. And if they do, they might do a no DQ match, which I really hope they do, to add some diversity to the women's matches, since all we got is triple threat and single matches, and not really no DQ based matches. I know triple threat's a no DQ based match, but they don't use weapons, so I'm hoping they use weapons at Extreme Rules. So, yep. Now we get to the major stinker of the show, Shane McMahon, Vince McMahon, and Stephanie McMahon. And they point out everything that's wrong with the storyline. How Stephanie McMahon points out that Shane McMahon lost to The Undertaker and therefore should not be given power. And I'm like, you just pointed out what is wrong with this. And there were major CM Punk chants in the arena, especially for Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon acknowledges it, but he doesn't mention who he is. Someone said in a Bleacher Report comment saying Vince McMahon should have said, "Oh, you all got to chant for him? Well, you still paid to see the show, so obviously you're chanting for something, or something like that." So that should have told them to just basically shut up there, because at this point the CM Punk chants are now their way of saying we rebel against your established system, but we're gonna pay for it anyways. So, yeah, I don't get it either. They go on for this for 30 minutes. This promo is long and arduous. And then Shane McMahon and the creative team and the people who put together the Titantron videos screwed everything up when they mentioned Bleacher Report saying how Shane McMahon is right for being the on-screen boss. So basically, they just acknowledged, yeah, everything is on-screen, but behind the scenes, oh no, nothing goes on there for Shane. He has no control over that. So they just screw that up big time. So now it's hard to get even more invested in this feud. So I don't know what's going to happen there. So Vince McMahon finally makes his decision, and my friend pointed out that he is the worst Father of the Year award. Like, he sarcastically said Father of the Year right there, where he wants his children to kill each other, disembowel each other, tear each other apart, slit their throats against each other. And I'm like, one of my friends actually thought this was completely awkward. Like, really, Vince? This is really what you're doing? And Vince even said to the audience and basically took a shot right there, saying, I don't give a damn what you people want. That's saying, yeah, I hate NXT, I hate all of you, so deal with it. So, like, someone could make the argument, oh, that was just Vince McMahon being Vince McMahon, the character, but then someone else can make the argument, oh, that was Vince McMahon being, well, shooting right there. Since he pointed out Shane McMahon wants to give the people what they want, and Vince McMahon is against that. And they offer their cases, and Vince wants them to disembowel each other. I don't even think he knows what that means. And trust me, you do not want to know. I really don't want to explain that. Like, I'm still surprised they let Kane say that on PG programming. In fact, I'm pretty sure a child is not going to like what he sees if he just tries to discover, what does disembowel mean, mama? So, that happened. And it was long and arduous and tedious, so he decides, I'm giving you both power over Raw. And I'm like, fuck you, Vince. Like, generally, fuck you. Like, really? This is what it was about to do? I was expecting, like, I get what they're going to try and do. Like, they're going to have an argument eventually. Like, I gave it a day before they blow heads with each other. So, really, in storyline terms, I gave it a 3 month. I gave it a month. And then they're going to split the show down the middle where Shane McMahon runs Raw and Stephanie McMahon runs SmackDown. And like I'm saying, it's hard to get invested in this storyline because of what happened at WrestleMania. Like, that's the major problem here. And yet they don't want to, and they even acknowledged it on television. So basically, if the characters know that this is something that shouldn't be happening, why should we care? So that happened. Now, let's see, I covered all the matches except for the main event. Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles. Started out slow. It was possibly the main match. They stole the show. Yeah, I went there. Prepared for the hate comments saying, oh, Roman Reigns was carried. Oh, no, this was that. AJ Styles is the best. And I'm not denying AJ Styles is phenomenal, but to say Roman Reigns was carried... Do you not reference Goldberg versus William Regal? That was carrying, for God's sakes. That's carrying a match. This is not. Like, I don't care if you hate Roman Reigns' guts, but, like, you have to give him respect on this. Like, he's doing everything he can to make this work, and yet he's just given so much crap material that he can't make this work. Like, he's just repeating, I'm not a good guy, I'm not a bad guy, I'm the guy. And I was just serious, and yes, I'm like you, I was hoping for a heel turn that night on Payback. So, it was disappointing that didn't happen, and I was expecting Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows to, like, turn on AJ Styles as well, and hoping for Balor to make his debut, which didn't happen. And despite Balor trolling the fans once again before Payback happened. Now we're going to see who's the troll of the year, Kevin Owens or Finn Balor. So that's a big contest that's just waiting to happen. So AJ Styles and Roman Reigns, they had a hell of a match. It started out slow, but then really picked up. And then it got a count-out victory for AJ Styles, and I'm like, what just happened? Like, is that really the end of the show? Oh, wait, now I get it. Now I get what they're going to do. Shane McMahon's going to come out. Oh, wait, look, Shane McMahon came out. Made a no count-out match. So that happened. And then Roman Reigns does a low blow. Well, according to the official, it was a low blow. But we saw it. It was punched in the gut. So we can see the illusion here. So we're not falling for it. And therefore, and they didn't replay the scene, so they knew that, yeah, Reigns kind of fucked up there. Yeah, like, that was botched really badly. So if we acknowledge it, the fans will know what's wrong here. So Stephanie McMahon comes out and makes it a no DQ match. That's when the former Bullet Club members come out, and then the Usos come out, and everyone's brawling, fighting. AJ Styles is out trying to get the victory over Roman Reigns. Then Roman Reigns, being the great family man, throws AJ Styles over at his cousins and the Anderson and Gallows, and they all just crash. And I'm like, way to be a family man, Roman Reigns. You just threw your enemy onto your fellow cousins. Way to go. And then Roman Reigns decides to fly and crash into the Usos again. So basically, yeah, you don't honestly care about the Usos whatsoever. And then, like earlier in the match before the countout victory happened, AJ Styles did a phenomenal forearm on Roman Reigns and bombed through the table. I'm like, okay, that's awesome, but at the same time, that's like, okay, the table blew up. What's special about that? Because they do it so many times that eventually it just got repetitive and very boring. Like they can't go through one show without breaking the table. So it's just more like, okay, it's cool, but we've seen it a million times by now. So Roman Reigns and AJ Styles, they had a hell of a match. They stole the show, in my opinion, with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens as a close second, and Dean Ambrose and Chris Jericho as a close third. And the worst match has got to be Charlotte versus Natalya, in my opinion, specifically for the screwjob finish, for making no sense. Like, they want to repeat the Montreal screwjob, and I don't know why, and especially it just didn't work. It just came across this, wait, what? What just happened there? Like, no one's confused. It's more like, wait, okay, that just happened? So, well, those are my thoughts on Payback, and once again, like, Roman Reigns is getting accused of being carried by AJ Styles and saying he can't hang with the big boys. And, like, Roman Reigns could possibly make world peace happen, and everyone will still say, well, you're not Daniel Bryan, so I'm going to hate you. So, those are my thoughts on WWE Payback. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate, and stay tuned for more.